A dangerous storm is rapidly developing. Welcome to the weather forecast on CIA TV channel. Dear friends, in today's forecast, we'll break down what you need to know about the weather that will affect the United States. A powerful storm system is about to hit the United States, and this will bring with it a return of severe weather, including strong winds, large hail, and even strong tornadoes. In addition, heavy rain from the Great Plains to the Ohio Valley over the next few days. Finally, we look at the tropics that are raging. We're currently tracking 3 areas in the Atlantic, including a Category 4 storm just east of Bermuda. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with your friends, family, and on social media. Comment in the comments below. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe to the channel to follow. Thank you. And right now, we have a major storm system that's developing in the Central Plains. Our low-pressure system is really centered over Colorado. We have thunderstorms that have been developing since last night and have moved through Kansas and Oklahoma. Significant severe weather potential across parts of Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Kansas, and Missouri. As we get into tomorrow, that severe weather will move further east, including areas like the Ohio Valley all the way up to the Gulf Coast. And we'll start with today. The Storm Prediction Center is now looking at severe weather in parts of Texas, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. Marginal threat from Kentucky back into central Texas. We have a line of storms moving through this morning right now, and as it continues to move east, the deeper we get into that warm zone, the lower the chance of tornadoes today. So if that area of showers and thunderstorms spreads across central Arkansas and all of eastern Oklahoma, the chances of significant severe weather this afternoon are really low. However, if we don't see much rain over the next few hours, it looks like this afternoon and evening will be a very strong afternoon and evening. Right now, we have a high risk of damaging winds. Additionally, very large hail is possible this afternoon from extreme northern North Texas back into extreme northwest Arkansas, near Rogers, and also through Fort Smith. The tornado risk is again elevated. We have a 5% chance of tornadoes, including Fort Smith and just northwest of Little Rock, Arkansas, near Fayetteville and Rogers. The severe weather threat will continue to affect millions of people across the country. Anywhere from the Gulf Coast to the Ohio Valley, where high winds will be the main concern. But I can see a few tornadoes in the afternoon, mainly across Kentucky, Tennessee, parts of Mississippi, and possibly even far northern Alabama. We really have 2 areas to watch. One of them will come back here in parts of southwest Missouri, northeast Oklahoma near Tulsa, and far southeast Kansas. And then another tornado line will be along the Arkansas border, all the way into eastern Oklahoma, near the Fort Smith area. As we get into the late evening and night, there will be at least a low chance of isolated tornadoes, but mostly the risk of damaging winds in far east Texas and south Arkansas. Now, as we get into Wednesday, that severe weather threat will continue to move toward parts of Kentucky, Tennessee, and possibly even Mississippi and Alabama. A little bit of mild weather is coming in for parts of Oklahoma and Texas. Temperatures will drop by 10 to 15 degrees Celsius in most areas by Wednesday afternoon. And then back in the Ohio Valley, we'll be mostly quiet this morning, but by mid to late afternoon and early evening, we'll have a band of storms moving through Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, and Tennessee with some gusty winds, possibly some small hail, and possibly lightning as well. Any storms in this area have the potential to produce strong winds. And I think there will be at least 1 or 2 tornadoes in this event. Maybe even an isolated landfall tornado. I think the biggest threat for tornadoes and winds could be right in this area. So back near Paducah and also near Clarksville, Tennessee. And as we head into Thursday, the threat of severe weather will continue along the East Coast. Some strong winds and hail anywhere from New York all the way down to parts of Virginia. Most of the storms will move offshore. leaving just a few scattered showers and maybe isolated storms in New Jersey, Delaware and far eastern Maryland. And then on Friday, it's going to be really dry for most of the Ohio Valley and the Northeast. Over the next couple of days, this storm will continue to bring lots of showers and thunderstorms to the Ohio Valley along the Gulf Coast, making things a lot drier and also nice and cool for much of the weekend. And then early next week, we'll start to see some warm weather again. We'll be tracking the tropics. We could see something develop just east of Florida around Tuesday or Wednesday. And this storm system will also bring a lot of beneficial rain over the next 48 hours. Widespread rain of 1 to 3 inches is forecast for much of the Ohio Valley from now through Thursday, including Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky and Tennessee. Rain will also spread into northeastern Texas. And we also need to talk about the tropics because things are really heating up very quickly. Right now, we're looking at 3 areas. One of them is Hurricane Gabrielle, which is just east of Bermuda. It became a Category 4 storm yesterday, which was quite a surprise. We also have a high chance of developing right after Gabrielle. This storm is likely to move out to sea, most likely towards Bermuda. So definitely keep a close eye on this tropical wave in Bermuda. And that's where we need to pay special attention in the United States. By the middle of next week, this storm could become a tropical storm as it moves north and northwest. If it does form, you'll definitely want to keep a close eye on the East Coast, especially near the Corollas Mountains, because if it moves north, it could very well be heading towards North Carolina, South Carolina or even Virginia. Behind that, we have a couple of systems that could develop here. 70% chance of development. The system is there with a tropical wave in the primary development area. This storm will move west and northwest of the Leeward Islands over the next 3 to 5 days. A little further south and west. This actually has a chance of impacting the Bahamas and even Puerto Rico or the Dominican Republic, with a 40% chance of a tropical wave developing into a tropical depression or tropical storm. We're looking at 998 millibars here. Some members start to appear there on Wednesday, September 24th. And then by the 26th, we start to see a little bit more of a signal of a low-level tropical storm. Maybe a Category 1 there just north of the Leeward Islands. And then it could start to curve up to Bermuda, possibly intensifying next week, when we could expect a strong hurricane. So we're going to be watching Bermuda very closely. The threat of high surf, heavy rain, and strong winds will of course impact Bermuda. And then the second system that's moving a little bit further south, it could actually become a strong system. And whether it impacts the Bahamas, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, the Leeward Islands, etc., we're going to continue to monitor that. Now looking at the eastern Pacific, we have Tropical Storm Narda near Mexico. You can see it's weakening a little bit. But this is Tropical Storm Narda. It's going to continue to move west. Right now, maximum sustained winds are 80 kilometers per hour, moving west-northwest at a force 13. It looks like it's going to turn west for the rest of the week. So we're going to be watching that very closely. The long-range tropical outlook looks favorable for the eastern Pacific to continue to be active. Let's take a look at these tropical areas. First of all, we have 2 disturbances that have formed here. They're expected to move mostly up the east coast. I think both of them indicate that this area is prominent in North Carolina. At least an organized tropical system. They're predicting a much worse storm to hit these areas, and it's very likely that this will at least impact South Carolina and Virginia. Maybe even further north into the mid-Atlantic. So this storm only has a 20% chance of developing in 5 days. But this storm has a much higher chance of moving out to sea. So it's very possible that we'll have another tropical system develop here. First of all, Hurricane Gabrielle, which is out to sea. So it's very likely that we'll see 3 tropical storm systems in the western Atlantic again. Looking at our storm situation, We will once again focus on increasing rainfall and surges across the region, while also watching a tropical disturbance move into and hit North Carolina again. We will continuously update the storm situation in the next news. Please subscribe to the channel to follow. Thank you for watching the news on CIA TV channel.